what is Compassism? So first of all, it is a philosophy made by me. It is very similar to something like Stoicism, but it has their own goals. And Compassism, not to be confused with the word compassion, is like a compass, and it is made to guide humanity through beliefs, knowledge, and principles. These three things will, if like, for example, every single human would have understand these principles, knowledge, and beliefs, they would basically solve humanity. And this is a pretty high bar, so I will need to explain. So first of all, most of these like principles, as we can say, are are focused on your own personal life, like any of the philosophy, like any of the like way of thinking. It is first of all focused on you as the person. But the thing is that these are made so that you can reach your own potential, but also so that you can go way beyond that and start helping other people. And this is especially seen because a few of these principles are only made for humanity, not for you, not for me, not for anybody else. These are made for us, everybody, as a whole, as humanity. And what I mean is like, for example, the first like step I've written down, because this is just raw, like I'm working on this so that it gets more polished. But for example, the first step, this could easily solve like 60% of all problems we have on Earth. It is this: money and power won't fill the hole. For example, if you're feeling depressed, then getting more money, more power, more influence won't fill the hole. It is only through hard work and progress and gain where we actually gain happiness. If you're like a man, I'm working on the feminine side of these principles, of course. And like, for example, most politicals are fucking sick in the head. Think about like the president of America right now. He's maybe effed around with children. Do you think that is a sane man? No, I don't think so. And these things aren't just like, oh, do this, oh, do this. These are real steps, and I will try to explain them so that you actually want to make them. Not like, oh shit, I gotta do it. No, you when I'm gonna explain these things, you're gonna feel. I'm not gonna have a big ego, but you're gonna feel motivated. That is at least a promise. I don't know. So Compassism is meant to help you realize your full potential. For example, like another step, actually step, wait, is step 14 and 11 is both about death, that you will die one day. One day you won't be conscious anymore. And you need to learn that, especially if, no, regardless of age, you need to know that. And if you start think, for example, I'm gonna die one day, and then you're not gonna fuck around with games or porn or just random bullshit. You're gonna get locked in when you start to actually focus on your life. When you, for example, realize that one day I'm gonna die, so I'm gonna work every single day so that when I die, when I'm on my deathbed with my grandchildren, I will be fucking proud of my life. That's what I'm fucking looking forward to. I'm actually kinda looking forward for my deathbed. Not dying, but my deathbed. Because that day I'll be damn proud as fuck. This is just one example of how you can realize your own potential. For example, no example. I'm sorry, I said wrong. So Compassism, as I already said, is made so that you can realize your own potential as a human being. But you will also start to accept pain. Like, many of these steps are like accepting pains, especially the two ones about death. But there's also comfort. Many of these steps are about comforting that the burden of life, because I don't believe in full hardcore, like being hard as fuck, not erect style, but I mean working hard as fuck and not giving a shit about your emotions, or living super soft. I believe you need both. You need both masculinity and femininity to work. So these steps are also accepting pain, but also giving comfort. For example, the last step of this, I have 17 raw steps. I'm gonna try to work so that they become roughly 11 or 12. But the last one is just be happy. Not in a bad, not in a like cringe way, but like be happy and enjoy life. It's as simple as that. Like, who gives a fuck? For example, who gives a fuck in 10 years how bad I spoke in this video, or how bad my structure was, or how bad this mic was, or whatever. Like, look at the fucking internet. And like, I really need to fucking go just explain these steps so you can better understand it. But just before I say that, Compassism is compatible with any religion. This is not focused on God. This is basically a Bible for atheists, because it is focused on fucking evolution and shit like that. I mean, like a lot of the thinking comes from like how Homo sapiens work in nature. For like, imagine 100 years ago, 100,000 years ago in nature, when we were cavemen. Like, genetically, we're basically the same shit. Like 99.9999999% similar. So we should eat the same shit as them. We should do the same shit as them. We should live the same shit as them. And also, of course, Compassism, which is focused on humanity, will only work if you accept that every single person, regardless of age, gender, race, and like, I don't know, if they're rich, I don't give a shit. Like, regardless of they have like a disability or think different from you or anything, every single person is equal and worth protecting. I don't want to see any fucking shit about racism. That is fucking cringe as shit. Especially now when we are a society of billions of people. We got bigger problems than your fucking next door neighbor. So I will just speedily go through these steps. But remember, these are raw steps. Like, fuck me. I'm already working on, for example, combining 3, 2, 5 into like a single one. But these are the raw ones. So, as I already said before, money and power won't feel low. And this is about like how world leaders are often depressed even with money, even with power. It isn't saying that working hard and gaining authentic success isn't rewarding. No. That's good as fuck for you personally. But only getting money and power won't fill the hole. If you're depressed and like feeling that your life is missing, and if you want to gain money and power, gaining that in an authentic way will most likely, if you're a normal human being, always be a lot better. The second step is about you need to understand that masculinity and femininity polarize, and this is about for this is just basically read fucking The Way of the Superior Man, because god damn how stupid we are. Like, there are clearly differences between the genders, and we need to understand that spiritual energy and how they polarize between each other. For example, men are more, in simple words, men are more focused on stuff, meanwhile women are more focused on people. That is just one example of how you need to understand how masculinity and femininity polarize and need each other. This third thing is about you need to always prioritize your own mind over pleasure. This is a pretty hard one to understand, I think, but the gift of having human consciousness is so goddamn great. Imagine if you were just a fucking stone. Imagine if you had no eye. Imagine if you did not exist. But you do. You're listening to my words. You exist. You have a conscious mind. You need to use that. You don't need pleasure. You don't need porn. You don't need YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, what, regardless. You don't need that. And you need to prioritize just being in your silent mind, because it is more, as you can say, dopamine detox. It is more silencing for your low attention span minds, but it is by far one of the greatest states to be in, and that is just be and think. Just exist and think. This is a quote, and it is, I think before I am, which is so goddamn great. It's like top three quotes I ever heard. But sorry, I meant to be speeding through this. So number three is about you need to prioritize your mind over pleasure. Not that pleasure isn't bad. It isn't bad to play video games, but you need to prioritize your mind, especially if you're feeling bad, if you're being ill or whatever. The fourth step is you need to think logically. Like, you need to think logically. Like, think for yourself. Don't be a fucking sheep. Whenever I see some fucking shit explaining something, I would always think like, but is this true though? And then I just start to think all for myself, like, if this is true or not. And I base myself of how Homo sapiens work, because we are Homo sapiens. We are not like any fucking new thing or anything. We are Homo sapiens, and therefore we are genetically the same shit as them, and means that we are adapted to nature. For example, social media is bad just because we are used to be only like having 100 friends, 100 people which you would get to know in nature when we lived in tribes, like roughly 100 people. But with, for example, social media, we can get contact with like 1,000 people. What, like, you can get in contact with hundreds of people. For example, you can read the comments, you can see posts, you can see other people. There's all of this. Your mind is not adapted to that. It thinks, oh, these are people which I get to know. No, they're not people you will get to know. These are people you are viewing. And social media tricks your mind into thinking, oh, these are a lot of people which I'm getting to know. And in nature, as I said, we only got to know like maybe like 100, maybe 200, 300 people. But with social media, you can get contact with like literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, which just messes up your mind because you think like, oh shit, this person from, for example, if you're in Britain, this person from Washington, this person from California said some shit about me, like, and then you naturally start to like care, not emotionally, but like start to like, for example, if somebody says, hey, your mom a joke at you, you would not necessarily be angry, even if it happened literally on the other side of the globe. And this is because we are not adapted to live with millions of people. So this is one goddamn example of think naturally and logically. This is why I'm not using so much social media. This is why I'm only like prioritizing the closest relationships. And this is why I literally like don't give a fuck what you think about me. Because there's so many goddamn people on this earth. Why should I care about you when I have other people? Not that I don't give shit about you, but you understand. Number five is pretty easy to understand. It is eat a natural diet. Eat, don't, whatever you do, because I believe in carnivore, but and it's one of my goals to work in the future to see if carnivore is actually the best diet or whatever. But regardless of what you think, if it's keto, if vegan or whatever, you need to at least think that you need to at least understand that carbs such as sugar is fucking bad to you, and that the best diets are mostly unprocessed diets. And think fucking logically once again. Don't take my words. Just think for yourself. Number six is a bit more deep, and it is you need to live your own life. So, for example, if everybody says you should go to the army, should you do it? I mean, if you want to, no problem. But if you don't want to, don't go to the fucking army or to like that college or meet those people, go to that party. Just because people around you want you to do something doesn't mean you need to do it. Or even better, that you don't shouldn't do it. Because if people can push you around so that you make not only small differences and changes to other people, but big as fuck. For example, choosing to live in a country just because people said you should live there, or choosing a college or a university just because people said you should do that. That is fucking evil because that is your own life, and people will never be proud of you because you never did your own shit. Like imagine like it's like empty threats or whatever you say. You need to just do your own stuff. You can't be living anybody any other life. You need to live your own life because you only have one, and if you live fully that one, everybody will be happy. People will only be more angry with you when they can't force you to live what life they think you should live. It is kind of like of a paradox, but I don't know. Damn, I'm fucking tired. Okay, I give up. I'm just gonna read the rest of them. I'm not gonna explain it so much. So number seven is the word is bad, the word is good, the word is can be forgotten. This is a way of thinking which accepts that we mostly think that we mostly focus on only one way to see the world. We most often with news, for example, only focus on the bad things of humanity, while sometimes we only focus on the good, on like the good news or good news, and sometimes we only think about how the world can be far greater with, for example, technology and everything. So you need to take all three. You need to take in the bad input, the good input, and the potential input which we can have. Number eight is that you need to always share it life, consciousness, and humanity. Be fucking proud to be human. Fucking be happy for your consciousness. Be happy for the potential of your human mind. Number 10 is that you need to both utilize the short term and the long term. You need to both think long term and short term. And short term, I mean like within your own lifespan. And long term is like beyond, far beyond, like 1,000 years from now. It can also be like 50 years now, but the big thing is that you need to both think short term, as in with your own life, with your own happiness, but also long term, so that humanity are in safe hands in you. Number 11 is that live so that you die with no shame. I would say it again: live so that you die with no shame. I think you know what I mean. And number 12, this is a fucking big one. I never heard anyone say anything but as this, but you need to. This is a really big thing, which is holding against humanity, and it's this: violence is natural, but it is not good to use as destruction in society. Violence doesn't mean destruction, but that is how it is used nowadays. Violence is similar to competitive or working super hard, I would say. And you may think it's like fucking like gay or like fucking pussy, like to just not be violent, because as men, we are fucking programmed to be violent. And I agree with you. But the thing is, we are not tribes of like 50 people, 100 people who are living, who are nearly dying every single day, who need to fucking fight. We don't need to do that. No, no, no. We should not be doing that. Violence is evil when it is destructive. You need to understand that violence isn't evil. It is evil how you utilize it. Like I, violence, I mean like being competitive, to be aggressive, to be intimidating or having power. It doesn't need to be destructive. It could be goddamn be a world saving thing to have violence. But you need to accept that. No, no, not you. It is all the fucking world leaders. They need to accept that violence is natural. It's even capable of a lot of good, but it is goddamn evil when used as destruction. You should not feel ashamed for having violent thoughts. Like, I fucking own my violent thoughts. I own when I want to pet that cat very, very aggressively. I own my violence thought when I want to cuddle with that dog. But violence used as destruction is evil. Fucking evil. Like, this is a big one. Like, this is perhaps like the most complex one I have. Number 13 is life is pain, pain is life. Number 14 is you will die one day. Number 15 is that the government should always have full freedom and democracy. They should always bow down to its people. This is also a really big one. I'm thinking of one of the things I want to in my future is write many books, not only fiction, but also non-fiction, like self-improvement books. And one of them is about democracy, about how governments can work. And then the last one is there are 1,000 lenses of life, which is basically about any way of thinking isn't the ultimate way. My way of thinking, Compassism, is not perfect. I try to make it as good as possible, but it isn't perfect because every person's different. Every person needs different type of have different helps and needs. So if you could just bring one thing with you, and if it is, and fuck me, if you could bring one thing, and if it is was that there's 1,000 lenses of life, it is just a cool word to say. But the idea is that every single person can have their own way to see life. This is one way to see it. One way to see life is that everybody else has their own way to see life. That's like, I think that is the only ultimate truth of the universe, and that is everybody has different ways to see on the world, and you need to accept that all of the people are different. For example, religions fucking hate that idea. They fucking kill each other for fucking both be praising the Lord, but in fucking different ways. Like, that's fucking retarded, I think. But basically, there's 1,000 lenses of life, and every each one of them is equally true, even the ones which is goddamn brainless. Then the last one, as a bonus, is be happy and enjoy life. These are fucking the raw notes. Like, I'm not saying you will fully understand with that this is a good explanation. No, no, no. But this is just, I just wanted to at least tell you what Compassism is, because if I continue working really hard on this in the coming years, or even if you're seeing this years from now, then pray, then clap yourself on the shoulder what the fuck you want. But Compassism is about guiding humanity, and every person is different, but we can work together. It doesn't need to be this cringe way of peace and love. I fucking hate that shit. No, 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 give that shit away from me. But this is made so that, and at least that you as a person can realize your full potential. I'm gonna work on combining these steps because a lot of them is just similar, such as you will die one day and lives that you die with no shame. It is basically the same thing. So I'm gonna combine them to like 9 or 12 things, and then make like one video of each step to fully break them down, because this is a fast breakdown. But I have one question which I want you to help me with, is that what is Compassism? I mean, I don't really know myself. Is it a doctrine? Is it a philosophy? Is it a way of life? Like, I don't really know what it actually is. Like, what is the definition? Because it is similar but not directly close to Stoicism. Because it both focus on your own life and humanity as a whole. But regardless of what you do, remember this: I have forgotten my out.